Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So this is primarily for my use, but I'm also going to upload it to YouTube so that if other people want it, they can do. This is just going to be my guide to my ideal stealth build, essentially. This build is intended that you will just use it for stealthing round. If the mission goes loud, I normally reset with this build because it's not a good build for loud whatsoever. If you're trying to get a hybrid build that can do both, again, this isn't for you. So I'll be primarily aiming to get very low concealment and very good accuracy on my guns because they're useful. Speaking of guns, the main weapon I use is the Deagle because it's just very good accuracy, very good damage. You can one-shot anyone you'll be fighting, assuming you never go loud. Doesn't matter about the stability because you're going to be shooting it singles fire, and it's got good concealment as well. In terms of barrel extension, you need a silencer. I've gone for team boost because I don't need the concealment bonus from it. I've got my laser just because it's handy. I've got more concealment and stability, more accuracy and stability. Yeah, you can tell I don't have the Ultimate Edition, so I'm just making do with the normal build, or the normal version of the game. For primary weapon, when I'm fighting, I almost exclusively use a Deagle pistol on stealth because you don't need anything more. So the primary weapon doesn't really matter. I go for the Car 4 because once it's modded, it's actually a pretty decent assault rifle. But you could quite easily just go for some pistols or something which give you effectively the same concealment, and it's probably a lot cheaper and easier than having an AR. Once you get the AR, basically you're just going for concealment again, so more concealment, off suppressor, because that's useful. I've gone for a second team boost even though they don't stack, because I don't really need the accuracy or the concealment. Aftermarket stock, again more concealment. Laser, because lasers are good. Again, stability. More concealment. I don't have a sight on it because they all reduce concealment, and then folding stock for more concealment and a bit of stability. And then up receiver for stability and damage. I've gone through those fairly quickly because most of the time you can work out the best mods to put on yourself. But if you want to, just slow the video down and have a look at those. I also occasionally use the OVA saw. I do need to get more concealment boost for this one, I just haven't got round to it yet. Low receiver, it's obviously stealth because I'm going on a stealth mission. And I use the sharp blade rather than the durable, because the sharp blade you can open up safe deposit boxes with one click, whereas durable costs 2 clicks. So it's actually using up twice as much ammo despite the fact that it gives you a bit of extra. So yeah. Most of the time I'll use the Car 4 rifle. Melee weapon doesn't really matter, but I use money because it's funny. Throwable, I've got the pocket ECM device, which comes from my perk deck. I use the hacker perk deck because with the hacker perk deck you get 2 pocket ECM devices, which regenerate. After 100 seconds you get one of them back, which is incredibly useful, and they can be used immediately without interrupting whatever else you're doing. So if I'm, I don't know, hacking a camera and another camera spots me, I can just, or lockpicking a door and a camera spots me, halfway through the lockpick I can just activate the mini ECM without interrupting the lockpicking to just stop the camera temporarily, let me unlock it, let me get through the door, sorted, no fuss. Rest of the perks aren't really that useful. They're things like killing enemies will give you benefits, killing enemies will give you benefits, which you're not really going to make use of in stealth. The biggest thing is having 2 pocket ECMs that regenerate. It's by far the best stealth build, or the best perk deck for stealth by a long way. I've also got a 2-piece suit, because if you're going stealthy you don't need armor, assuming you're never going to go loud. And it just gives you nice stamina and run speed and everything. Going on to skills. For the Mastermind controller, got Force Friendship, increase your cable ties, let you intimidate people more easily, and let you intimidate people for longer. These are very much nice to have, but by no means necessary. Force Friendship by itself is pretty rubbish. It just saves you killing a couple of civilians, which will save you a bit of money. But if you're making millions, saving a couple of grand isn't going to make any difference, really. These two are very useful at getting a room under control more easily, but again, far from necessary. Get these much later on in your skill pickings. For Enforcer, increase your armor recovery rate, which is going to be useless because you're never going to get shot at. It lets you throw bags further. Throw bags further is nice, especially once you've effectively completed the mission and it's just a case of bag throwing simulator. But just by spending an extra half second running instead or walking, you can effectively get rid of that, so it'll just save you a couple of seconds here and there, so it's by no means necessary again. Ammo Specialist, I've got a Scavenger one, basically just so that I can get the portable saw. This unlocks the portable saw as a secondary weapon, which I will never use because I only use the Deagle, because Deagle's very good, so I'll use the portable saw as my primary instead. But it also gives you an extra saw blade for it, and increases my saw efficiency by 40%, so it's quite nice to have. I've also got the ability to carry 2 ammo bags with extra ammo. I will only ever really use ammo bags when I've got the portable saw. So on missions where you're not going to use the portable saw, these 3 are all completely useless. So I'll get these normally when I'm about level 80 or something, because at that point you've got enough points, you've got everything essential, and you're just looking for extra stuff to get, and having the flexibility to take portable saws is useful. For Technician, I've gone up the engineer tree. The first 2 are literally useless for me because I don't have sentry guns. The third one is very, very useful. Deploy and interact with all deployables faster, and you can equip a secondary deployable. If you're going solo, this is the second most important skill to get effectively. If you're going with a group of people, if there's like 2 or 3 of you, it's not very useful at all. If you're solo, being able to take body bags and an ECM, incredibly valuable. If you've got 3 people, someone's got body bags, someone else got an ECM, someone else's, their deployable's never going to get used effectively. So, depends on whether you're solo or not. For Breacher, this tree basically increases your saw ability, lets you fix them quicker, gives them a chance to restart after breaking, decreases the time, gives it more chance to restart after breaking, and lets you reset a broken drill with a melee attack. Acing Kickstarter isn't very useful because it costs a whole 6 points, and I don't find it's half the time it doesn't work, and it's rare that I need to reset a broken drill urgently anyway. Most of the time it's just to save a bit of time on the heist. It's very rare that there'll be civilians or guards around that will be startled by it or come and investigate. And if there are, you're probably doing something wrong most of the time. But the other ones I get quite quickly because you're going to use drills quite a lot. So I get that like once I've got to about 50, 60, 70 skill points. And then I'll ace that last probably. For Ghost, this tree is incredibly important. Increases the time before you start getting detected, very useful. Pick up item while in case mode, useful-ish. Getting the ability to mark enemies nearby, incredibly useful. Getting access to insider assets, incredibly useful, and also reduce the cost of killing civilians. Carrying 2 sets of body bags, incredibly useful, and also gaining additional body bags in your inventory, incredibly useful. Getting the ability to disable cameras, incredibly useful. Lockpicking faster, you get the idea. Increases the ability of your ECM jammers and lets you take 2 of them. And also pages are delayed by ECM jammers. Basically, the first thing I will do is max out this tree whenever I prestige. This tree is the most important one by far, I would say. Going on to Artful Dodger, duck and cover, stamina starts regenerating quicker, and you can sprint faster. That goes hand in hand with parkour, 10% additional movement speed, and 20% increased speed while climbing ladders. These two are very useful for once you've completed the mission and it's just a bag throwing simulator. Being able to move quicker and sprint more just lets you complete that a bit quicker, really. Inner pocket, increase the concealment of melee weapons by 2. That's very useful again because that's 2 free concealment. Handy. Second wind, when your arm breaks movement speed's increased, you will note that's completely useless for us because your armor's never going to break, so you're never going loud, so you'll never be shot at. Optical illusions, the first step is useless, so acing it is very handy because you'll notice you've got 2 silence weapons that will actually increase your concealment by 6, which is kind of handy. Professional, just increase your abilities with silence weapons, which all your weapons will be silenced, so that's pretty useful as well. 8 weapon stability, snap to zoom speed, and weapon accuracy, handy. Fugitive, I never go with anything here, there's nothing that's really useful for stealth, I don't think. And then for equipment, I normally take double body bag cases, because you can never have too many body bags. And I'll take a single ECM because the number of times that just being able to drop an ECM when you need to is incredibly useful. Don't forget you can also double this up with your mini ECMs, so if you need to be able to ECM immediately, you can drop a mini ECM which gives you 6 seconds, and in that 6 seconds swap to your normal ECM and put one down, and then they'll overlap slightly, which gives you something like 35-33 seconds of ECM, which is normally enough time to clear up any mess, unless it's going way out of control, in which case you probably wouldn't be able to clear it up anyway. Occasionally I'll take ammo bag, mostly if I've got a saw, because you should never run out of ammo with your deagle on normal missions anyway. But yeah, I think that's everything I was going to talk about. So that's my quick guide to stealthing on Payday 2.